Good evening, and welcome to our special edition of Indie Admissions Live, our special event for the Notre Dame class of 2018. Before we get started, we want to just say congratulations on your decision to attend Notre Dame and welcome you to the Notre Dame family. We are very excited to see you in August. We are truly delighted, and we just wanted to give you an overview before we get started about how these sessions will run. As you know, we will have 2 sessions today, and each session will run for about 45 minutes. We'll have our panelists that have joined us this evening introduce themselves, give an update from their different departments, and also ask any questions that you may have. So, students and parents that may also be joining, feel free to go ahead and submit your questions, and we will get to those questions as we have some opportunity to speak to them during the session. After the initial 45 minutes, we'll take a 15-minute break and return for our second session. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Jatan Davis, and I am the Assistant Director of New Media Communications here in the Enrollment Division. And now I will turn it over to my colleagues to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Candy Rassi. I'm the Assistant Director for Student Accounts within the Enrollment Division. And our office is responsible for, of course, sending out tuition statements and making sure that all of the charges on your student account are correct. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us anytime. You can go to our website, studentaccounts.nd.edu, or you can contact us by email or phone. All of our contact information is listed on our website.
Hi, good evening. I'm Mary Nucciaroni. I'm the Director of Student Financial Aid here at the university, and I'm happy to be here with you tonight. And I'll talk a little bit more about our programs in a moment.
My name is Sean Warner. I'm an associate faculty member in the first year of studies. One of the academic advisors. The first year of studies is the collegiate home for all first year students when they are admitted into the university. Again, I'll have more information as we get to it.
So in getting started with our session tonight, I think it makes the most logical sense to start off with Mary and financial aid. Sure. So Mary, take it away.
Thank you, Jatan. So what I'm going to try and do this evening is just focus a little bit on what are the things that students and or parents need to be focusing on right now as you move closer to the enrollment process. And as Candy said, actually we have a little bit different model here at Notre Dame. Notre Dame's financial aid and student accounts offices are actually connected. So we're in an office structure called the Office of Student Financial Services. So both Candy and I should be able to answer any of the questions about financial aid or student accounts that you have. For the majority of those of you who are listening, you should have already received your financial aid notification by the end of April. We get a lot of questions about, do I need to return that notification letter? The answer to that is no, not unless you plan to decline something on that financial aid award notification. And if you want to do that, you can do that on that letter. You can send an email to our office. The primary email we use is FinAid, like financial aid, but a short FINAID at nd.edu. Another one of the things I would strongly encourage, if you haven't done already, inside the packet that the student received with their financial aid notification was a form. Not sure if you can see this, but I'll show it. It's called Scholarship Information Release Form, and it was in the back inside pocket of your financial aid notification folder. That document needs to be returned to our office before the bills go out. And again, Candy's going to talk about that in a little bit, because if that document is not received by our office, your financial aid scholarship, whether it was a merit scholarship or a university scholarship, that aid is not going to come over across onto your bill. And I'm sure that's really what you want to happen for that to go in. So look for that form. If you don't have it, it's also out on our website, again, financialaid.nd.edu. Another one of the most popular things right now, popular questions or most frequently, is outside scholarship process. So about 2 weeks ago, we sent paper notifications requests to students who had applied for financial aid, asking them to complete that form and submit it to us if they had any outside scholarships. They're coming in very slowly. So either you didn't get it, you're not getting outside scholarships, which would really surprise me because that's not normal, or it's sitting on a to-do pile. So that form is due by June 25th. So that's next week. If you receive a scholarship from an outside organization, you are required by federal regulation, especially if you're receiving need-based aid, to notify the financial aid office. So if you get the check directly at your house, what you need to do is endorse that check, make sure it's made payable to the University of Notre Dame, and send that check to our office. Sometimes families are a little nervous about endorsing that check and sending it live in the mail. We rarely have had any problems with that. So that's really what we would ask that you do. And then what we're able to do is to finish that process of processing the outside scholarship and then again crediting that scholarship to your student account so that payment appears as a live payment. If you have an outside scholarship and that organization sends the check to our office, we're not going to mail it to you this summer. What we're going to do is list it on your financial aid notification as estimated financial aid that's coming in, and student accounts is going to let you assume half credit for that, and then what we'll let you know by email is that we're holding that check in our office and that you can come into our office when you arrive here on campus. Another big piece right now is federal student loans. So if on your financial aid notification you had gotten a federal direct loan, you need to be doing a two-step process. And again, in the financial aid notification packet, there was a half sheet right in that back pocket. Again, not sure if you can see, but it is called the Federal Direct Student Loan Instructions. So you need to be doing that now. The you in that sentence is you, the student. The student is the borrower. So mom and dad, as much as you like to do things for this young person, right now, this is the student's process to do, and I think you'll probably hear that from my colleagues here. So that process is a two-step. You really need to be doing entrance counseling, and then you'll need to sign a promissory note. We'll receive notification when both of those steps are complete, and that's when we can do what's called originating your loan with the Department of Education. That loan will actually be paid over onto your student account just before the start of school. But again, student accounts, Candy will be able to see that we've processed it, and they will anticipate that money, and you wouldn't be paying that up front. The other type of federal student loan that's out there is what's called a federal Perkins loan. Again, you would have to look at your financial aid notification to know if you received that. If you did, students, you will be receiving, you should have received it today or by tomorrow morning, from an organization called Sign My Loan. If you didn't receive that in your Notre Dame email box, check the spam and make sure that Notre Dame is going to be sending you lots of emails. So make sure that you're checking that Notre Dame email account. So you should have received an email message, Sign My Loan. And you have to get that message before you can complete the process to finalize your federal Perkins loan. Again, the instructions are very clear in that email about what you need to do. There are 3 steps. One is going to call for your PIN. The PIN they are talking about is the student's FAFSA PIN, the Free Application for Federal Student Aid PIN. You're going to use your PIN. You're going to complete entrance counseling, look over the terms and conditions of that loan, and again, sign an online promissory note. For that loan, same thing. We're going to receive notification you've done those steps, and then we will be able to notify student accounts that that loan will be coming in. Keep in mind that those 2 processes for loans are completely separate, so you need to make sure that you complete both. So if you have a federal direct subsidized loan and or unsubsidized loan, that's one process. If you have a federal Perkins loan, that's a separate process. So the other big question that we get right now is, I have work as part of my financial aid, or I didn't apply for financial aid, and I want to work on campus. Either way, you are able to work on campus. Very honestly, the majority of our students, we do have a job board, but the majority of our students actually find their jobs by word of mouth. So and you can start that anytime. Maybe your passion is to design a website. Jeton might be a wonderful person. You have her name now. She might be an employer for you. So you could email her and ask, are you hiring? And I won't put her on the spot right now and ask her, but really that's how that works for a lot of students. So maybe you've worked in a library before. Maybe you want to just contact the library, find out who the student supervisor is, and ask if they're hiring. Very honestly, the largest employer for our first-year students is probably going to be food services, which encompasses everything from catering, working in the dining hall, my favorite, Starbucks. So there's lots of places for students to work on campus. You don't have to work. That is not a requirement. We're not going to be replacing that with any other funds, grant funds. But students are paid bi-weekly, and they're paid into their own personal checking account. So we've encouraged students to work, but again, a lot of our first-year students choose not to work or might delay in that. But if you're anxious to get started to work, it's never too soon. You can start before you get on campus, although some jobs are going to require your academic schedule, which is Sean's area, and I'm not going to even try to get into that section either. So I'm going to stop there so I know my colleagues have time to present as well and then get to questions if there are any.
Yeah, actually, one quick question before we go to Candy. We have a question that said, the student said they received a $2,500 scholarship, which is to be sent directly to ND. Will the new tuition amount be reflected in Irish pay?
It will. So again, if you look at the financial aid notification packet, the policy about reporting outside scholarships and the treatment of those outside scholarships is covered in that packet. We will apply that scholarship to your financial aid, and it may result in a replacement of maybe work might be reduced or whatever. It's just, that's very individual. So if you have specific questions on how it might affect your package, that's something you should call or email our office and we'll look. But the direct answer to, the easy answer is yes. The other thing again is that when that $2,500 scholarship, half of that's going to be credited to your bill in the fall, and half will be credited in the spring, unless the organization has given us specific instructions otherwise.
Okay. And do the international students, do they have to fill out any additional forms in order to have any student employment on campus?
All students actually will have to fill out additional forms when they get here. Okay. So they're going to have to complete the I-9 form, which all employees, whether you're a student or a regular employee of the university, and they'll have to complete their tax withholding forms. All of those student employment documents will actually be done with the hiring supervisor. So if Sean's going to hire someone, he's going to do that, not the student employment office. So, and for our international students, actually, Immigration Services is going to be in contact with those students and telling them all different kinds of things that they're going to need to be able to, or need to be doing when they arrive on campus.
All right.
Great questions.
Now we'll go ahead and turn it over to Candy to give us an update from student accounts.
Okay, well, in student accounts, we're getting busy and ready to process and generate our fall tuition statements. And so just so you're aware of when to look for that to come through, you will receive an email July 18th, in the afternoon of the 18th, stating that your statement for the fall semester is available for viewing in Irish Pay. The due date on that statement is August 13th. And so for the spring semester, same thing, you'll get an email in the evening or afternoon evening of December 5th, and then that statement will actually be due on January 5th. And one of the most important things, if you have not already done so, is to make sure that you have granted your parent or guardian access to your Irish Pay account. And so that's the only way that you're going to receive that student account statement. We don't send them throughout in the mail any longer. Everything is also goes through electronically. So if you have not already done so, please make sure that you set up your parent or guardian as an authorized payer so that not only you will receive the email stating that a statement is available, but also your parents as well. And then once you get that statement, if you're, a lot of times parents will kind of be in sticker shock, not really thinking through as to what exactly is there. We do offer a payment plan as well, and information on our payment plan is on our website. We partner through Hire One to offer this payment plan. There's an enrollment fee of $40 to go ahead and do that. But it is an interest-free payment plan, and it will spread out your payments throughout from June all the way until February. So instead of paying your student account balance in one lump sum each time a statement is generated for the fall and the spring, it will actually spread out your payments from June. If you sign up by June 1st, you can spread it out for 9 payments all the way through February. And so that's a little bit easier for parents to be able to do. And also, you don't have to set up the whole amount with the tuition payment plan. If you want to finance a little bit, a portion of it, you can do a Parent Plus loan. If you want to pay a portion outright and then set up the rest of that balance through tuition payment plan, that's perfectly fine. We're very flexible, willing to work with the families to do that.
For the families who applied for financial aid, again, in the back folder, the back pocket of the financial aid notification packet, there's actually, Candy referred to the Federal Plus loan, there's instructions on how to do that, and then she talked about the payment plan. There's actually a personal planner, and it gets to what's my bill going to be. So you could try to be figuring that out right now, and then if you flip that paper over, it goes through what Candy just talked about, that it doesn't have to be one or the other thing. It could be a mixture of ways that families pay their outstanding balance. So if you haven't found that, it is in that packet. For those who might not have applied for financial aid, it's also out on our website.
And a lot of times we'll have parents who have a 529 plan. The best thing to do with that is contact your 529 plan administrator. They will actually walk you through the steps to get that money transferred from your 529 plan to your student account. So please contact them, and they'll be able to answer any questions that you may have with that. I believe that's pretty much most of the big important things with the student accounts office, so then I will refer to you.
Okay. We just have one question that came in, and it's about the payment plan option. I believe we said that the notices will drop on the 18th of July. And so when would that first payment be due? For a 9-month payment plan, that actually began June 1st. Okay.
So they will want to go ahead and the website to go ahead and enroll in that plan is on our website. It's tuitionpaymentplan.nd.edu. So then they can go in and log in and do that.
Since it was June 1, do they have like a catch-up payment, Candy?
Yes, so let's say they decide in July, on July 15th that they want to go ahead and sign up for that plan. What they'll have to do is pay their June payment and their July payment to catch up. And then sometimes we do offer also a late enrollment that begins in August. So if they decide that they want to go ahead and enroll in that plan after they receive their statement, that's perfectly fine. They can start. The August would only be 7 months. So the only issue with that is, and it's not really an issue, but your 7-month payment is going to be higher than a 9-month payment plan. So if you really want to kind of spread out your payments a little bit more, it's a little easier to spread it out in 9 months instead of 7.
Okay. Thank you so much, Candy, for that. All right, we'll turn it over to you, Sean.
Let's switch gears a little bit from the money side of things to the academic side of things. As I mentioned earlier, the first year of studies is the collegiate home for all first-year students. So right now, your home is the first year of studies as opposed to being in the College of Business or in the College of Engineering or Architecture. The first year has a lot of unique needs, and it's a unique period of transition for first-year students. So for over 50 years, the first year of studies has been around to help serve those needs. And each first-year student is assigned a first-year advisor that they can meet with on a regular basis throughout the year. And the summer is really the start of that advising relationship. The course selection form and that many of you have received, all of you should have received, is actually coming up and due on Monday. So all of you should have received at the start of June the welcome packet and academic guide, if you can see what the academic guide looks like. Yes, this is me on the cover of the academic guide. I can sign autographs for you when you arrive in August. The academic guide really is your guide to how you are going to register for your classes for the fall semester. And what you're doing with the course selection form, we ask that you submit that electronically. You have access to that through Inside ND and the First Year of Studies tab. And what the course selection form is a information gathering tool. The courses that you put on there, the selections that you make, and the information that you give us on that form, your advisor will then use to actually build your schedule for you for the fall semester. And you'll have access to that schedule beginning August 1st. But that form is the very first step. If you have questions about how to fill out that form or about what your course selection should be, because those questions are unique to each individual student, we ask that you actually call the First Year of Studies or send an email to fys@nd.edu, and we can answer your questions to your specific situation. Again, the course selection form is due on Monday, June 23rd, so I know there are many of you that still need to do that. You know, make sure that you get it in by then so that we can begin the process of actually building your schedule. If your advisor has questions as they work through building your schedule, they'll contact you via email or through phone calls. Other things that are due beginning Monday is we need you to sign the Honor Code Pledge. There's 3 steps to that. The first step is to actually read the Honor Code. Second step is to take the quiz. You need to get a 6 out of 8 on the Honor Code quiz. Once you take that quiz, then you need to electronically sign the pledge. The Honor Code is an important piece to your academics at Notre Dame because we expect all of our students to abide by the Honor Code and make sure that there isn't cheating or plagiarism and whatnot. The Honor Code is explained very, very well through, again, a link on the First Year of Studies tab on Inside ND. One little tip on that, be sure that when you're taking the quiz for the Honor Code, make sure that your pop-up blocker is off. There are some messages that do pop up as you take it, and if your pop-up blocker is on, you may miss out on a couple of those messages, so make sure you have that pop-up blocker off. The third thing that's due on Monday is the Math 10550 diagnostic exam. What that is, again, is just a diagnostic. It's not anything that is going to really dictate which particular class that you can take. But what we're trying to do is gather information to make sure that the students going into the Math 10550 course or higher we're actually designing the course to fit the needs of those students. So be sure, for those of you that are considering taking Math 10550 or higher, be sure to take that exam. So again, things due on Monday, June 23rd, course selection form. Best advice I can give you for this, like I said, it is an information gathering tool. Don't stress out over it. If you have questions, call the First Year of Studies. Have some fun with it. Pick classes that you think that you're going to be interested in. Do the Honor Code, and for those of you that are considering Math 10550, please take the Math diagnostic test by Monday.
Great. Well, we do have a lot of different questions that you can imagine regarding class registration, and I think the first question that I thought was interesting is actually from Raul, who appears to be tuning in from Bolivia. He has not received his welcome packet and temporary ID yet. What should he do?
He should call or contact via email the First Year of Studies, fys@nd.edu, or give us a call, and we can get him taken care of. Sometimes when mailings go internationally, they take a while. Not sure what the specific case would be in his case, but contact the first year of studies and we can, get to the bottom of everything and get him taken care of.
Great. And then we have another question, which is, can we specify the professors as well?
It's a great question, and unfortunately, no. All we're doing on the course selection form is we want you to select the courses. Your advisor is going to build your schedule and will choose days and times and professors as they build the schedule. One of the reasons for that is because you're not seeing the days and times of when classes are, and some of the courses that you select may actually have conflicting, you can't be in two places at once, and they may conflict with each other. We'll worry about that on our end. So just select your courses, pick ones that you think sound interesting, follow the guidelines within the academic guide, and you'll be able to see your schedule beginning August 1st. Once you arrive on campus in August, the Monday before classes begin, August 25th, you will be able to make adjustments to your schedule should you deem that necessary at the time.
Okay, that was one of the questions we had, which was how difficult is it to change your schedule after August when you arrive?
When you arrive in August, really easy. You just come and see your first year advisor, and we'll meet with everybody individually to make any potential changes. A lot of that will get covered during orientation, the process for which schedules will be adjusted.
Okay. And speaking of that first year advisor, is there any way for them to determine who the first year advisor is prior to orientation?
That is a great question. They will find out very, very shortly. I believe next week advisor assignments will be finalized, and you will be able to see who your advisor is through Inside ND.
Okay. Let's see, we have a couple more questions here for you, Sean, and then we'll get to some of the others. If they're having some difficulties with the honor code, who should they contact about that?
They, again, can contact the first year of studies. One thing to mention about the honor code and the course selection form is that there is a notation at the top of the course selection form that says honor code complete, yes or no. That particular function is not accurate at this time. So please, if it says yes or no, ignore it. If you know you've taken the honor code, you've passed the quiz, and you've signed the pledge, you should be in really good shape.
Okay. We have another question I think is really interesting. We have some athletes that are obviously tuning in, and they want to know how do they build their schedule around their training times?
The first year advisors will actually take care of that. We are aware of when each team needs to be available in the afternoons or mornings, as the case may be, and the schedule will be built with that in mind. So there's nothing that the athletes need to worry about at this time. We'll take care of it on our end. If there's an issue when you see your schedule beginning August 1st, we can make those adjustments when you arrive on campus for orientation.
Thank you, Sean. Sure. And I'm actually seeing a lot of questions coming in where students or parents are asking if these sessions will be available for you to review later on, and they definitely will be. So we know there's a lot of information that we're throwing at you right now. Please know that you will be able to replay these and soak all the information in. Okay. We also had a question regarding financial aid and ROTC scholarships. Mm-hmm. Will you be notified by the office, or what will the students need to do to loop you in on that?
Sure, that's a great question. Yes, each ROTC branch will notify our office. That doesn't usually happen until right before school starts. And again, some of the ROTC programs have physical, they have some kind of conditional things that students have to do. So we will wait until we have the most official notification from the ROTC unit itself before we would change any financial aid package for a student. Because if something happens, we don't want to have them lose the other aid that they were offered previously. But they shouldn't have to do anything. It should happen automatically.
Okay. And I think the overall fear here is, what if I owe Notre Dame something and I get it? Like, what's going to happen to me? And so, Candy, is there, can we reassure the students in some kind of way that if there is some kind of payment that has been missed, that they'll be notified? And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if by chance you have missed a payment, you will actually receive a letter from our office stating, that, just to kind of give you a heads up, this payment was missed, please contact our office as soon as possible. If you're not able to make that payment right away, it's very important to communicate that with our office. We work closely with financial aid, and so we'll kind of tag team, looking at students' accounts just to make sure that everything's there, everything's been dispersed to the student account. If there's anything, else that we can offer the student, as far as, maybe we can stretch out a payment, over the month, then that's an option as well. The most important thing also too is even if you have a full scholarship, you want to make sure that you sign up your parent or guardian as an authorized payer, because a lot of times students will go to the bookstore and charge something to the student account. They'll go visit the health center. Those miscellaneous charges will add up, and before you know it, you have a past due balance. And so we definitely want to make sure that you're all aware that anytime anytime there's activity on the student account, we will send a statement. And so you'll want to review that statement just to make sure that everything's paid in full.
great, thank you. So make sure you check your email, and don't be worried. We'll definitely work with you to make sure you can get your accounts paid. Sounds like.
Along the email lines, your first year advisor will be contacting you if they have questions about your course selection form through your ND email account. So please check your ND email account.
Okay. We have another question here from Vincent, which is, if I accepted my financial aid package, am I required to take out the direct loan, or am I required to work as part of the work study offer if I have obtained alternate tuition funding?
Sure, that's a great question. No, you are able to decline any part, all or part. Most people don't decline scholarships, but if the student doesn't want to work or wants to reduce the amount of work, or they don't want to take the student loan, you're free to decline. You need to send that in writing to our office at finaid@nd.edu, or again, you can use your financial aid notification to let us know what you plan, what your plans are. So it's not required to take a loan, especially if you found alternate funding. On the other side, just to reiterate, if you do have that funding and you do plan to take that, it's important that you do those steps, because student accounts then again is going to know that's part of your financing plan, and they're not going to be looking for that payment of, say, half of the federal direct loan is $1,750. So if you turn in a payment and it's that short, they know that's what your intent is. So both ways, but you can just let our office know in writing if you're not going to accept part of the financial aid offer. That's perfectly fine.
Okay, great. And then we have another question from Elise, who says that her son actually received campus employment and wants to actually work and take advantage of that financial aid offer. Should he wait till he gets here for a job, or should he be looking now?
Either way, the
Okay.
student really can do that. Again, some of the jobs on campus require that the student know what their schedule is, and so some jobs aren't going to be able to hire. But what you can do is start to figure out, where might I want to work? So again, there is a job board. My caution with the job board is it's only as good as supervisors telling us of open jobs, and not all supervisors post all of the jobs that they have. So again, the best way to start looking is thinking about kind of what's your passion, what do you really like to do, where would you like to work, and start seeking that out. Know that, again, it may require that you actually have your schedule, but you can make that contact, and then once you get on campus, you'll have that opportunity to go see that supervisor and have that relationship built.
Thank you. And speaking of schedules, of course, we have some students who plan to try out for the marching band, and they want to know how their schedules are impacted by trying out for the marching band.
What they should do is indicate on the course selection form that they are planning on doing that, and we will make the assumption in building their schedule that they will be in the marching band, and we will make sure that they are available during those times that the band would need.
Okay, great. And then for the students that are still waiting to hear about scholarships,
Outside scholarships?
outside scholarships.
That's fine. Just when they find out if they do receive one. So let's say I said the form, we asked that it be turned in by the 25th. If you find out the day after, really the point is you need to let us know so that we can incorporate that into the financial aid package and notify student accounts. I think I saw something fly by too about I got scholarship checks at home and I plan to use those for my books. That's fine, but you still are required to notify our office that you did get outside scholarships because the federal rules require that we incorporate those funds into the financial aid package. And no one probably will ask this, so I'm just going to offer the other piece with that is, how do I buy my books? You can actually charge them free, interest-free, to your student account. Candy can probably give you a lot more detail if you really need that, but the point in making that comment is, please don't use a credit card that's interest-bearing to buy your books, because you can do it through your student account interest-free. You can also rent textbooks, which is another way to keep your costs down. So Sean probably has a lot more advice about, when do I buy my books, how do I buy my books, and that kind of thing. But again, that would be one of my pieces of advice as a parent who's had several children go through college. Don't put them on a credit card, and no, we don't take credit cards for tuition, because that's probably another thing people will ask now that I've mentioned credit cards.
Well, as it comes to books, you won't see your schedule until August, so it won't make sense to buy any books until you've seen your schedule. Once you see your schedule, you will be able to actually order your books through the Notre Dame bookstore online if you need to. You can also buy them in person when you arrive on campus during orientation.
And I'm seeing a lot of questions come through. A lot of students have very specific questions about their educational plans, what they plan to study and studying abroad and so forth. And who can they talk to in the first year of studies about this right now before they know who their specific advisor is?
They can call our office right now. I'll give you the phone number. Area code 574-631-7421 is the front desk at the first year of studies. We have advisors on staff who are taking phone calls during the week. You can talk with an advisor tomorrow or on Monday, Tuesday of next week, whatever works for you. And I would encourage you, if you have questions about your specific plan of study now, contact an advisor and have a conversation. They're going to guide you through the process. Once you're on campus and you have your advisor, this summer is the start of your year-long advising relationship with the first year of studies. And your advisor will be there to help you transition into the fall semester. They're going to help you with future registration for the spring. They're going to help you put together a 4-year plan as you really narrow down your college and your major by the end of your first year.
Great. Thank you. We have another question that's come in where a student has attempted to go in and complete their entrance counseling, and they're saying that it still says offered instead of accepted. Is that normal? Or should they be worried?
Sure, that's a great question, and actually it was in my notes, and I failed to cover it, so thank you for asking. So the way I'm assuming what they're looking at is Inside ND, and Inside ND is going to show that loan as offered until we actually originate the loan. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they haven't completed the entrance counseling or the master promissory note. It simply means we're not going to start originating first-year student loans until probably the second week of July. But we want you to be doing these processes now, but that's a great question because it will show as offered until the 2 steps are done for each of the loans and we actually originate the loan. So if after you did them and after that second week of July, if you're still seeing it showing as offered, I would suggest you contact our office, because a lot of times what happens with student loans is the student does the entrance counseling and they don't sign the promissory note and they think they've completed the whole process. And so there's probably something wrong if you're into mid-July and we haven't originated your loans.
Thank you, Mary.
Mhm.
I have another question that I actually saw when scouring social media. Some students were asking, how does determining schedules, how does taking placement exams play into registering for classes?
Well, there's multiple types of exams or tests that you would take. One is the math diagnostic exam or test that I talked about earlier. That test is really just for information purposes, and that won't factor in necessarily into your the courses that they take. The other placement exams that you will often see are for language placement. So if you have a background in a particular language, for example, if you've taken Spanish all 4 years in high school, we want you to take our online placement exam for Spanish so that we know that we're putting you into the right Spanish course when you start here at Notre Dame. There are links to all of the language placement exams through, again, inside ND in the first year of studies tab. Some exams are done online. Some are you will need to register for to take in person on campus during orientation weekend. A third type of exam is credit exams that we offer in August. We offer math exams and to actually give you credit for a particular math class. Those exams are more for students who feel like they have a strong background in math and feel like they can actually test out of a level of calculus or statistics. For those who have taken AP exams, if you've taken an AP exam and did not get credit via that AP exam, chances are good you probably would not pass our credit exam either. So we don't recommend that if you've taken the AP exam, there's no need for you to actually take the math credit exam. But for those of you who maybe took an AP class but did not take the AP exam, that might be an opportunity for you to get credit. So we have a few different types of tests and exams that are out there.
Okay, thank you, because we do have a question. Should I register for a math diagnostic test if I took an AD Math SL test in May? And I guess it depends on how they placed, right?
Yeah, what I would recommend is anybody who is planning on taking Math 10550, Math 10560, Math 20550, that's Calculus 1, Calculus 2, Calculus 3. Regardless of your AP or IB exams, you should take that math diagnostic test.
Okay. And so similarly, if a student hasn't received the results for perhaps a BC Calculus AP test yet, should this person go ahead and take Calc 3?
What I would recommend is fill out your course selection form as if you will not have the credit for scores that we're waiting for. If you know that you have a score, indicate that on the course selection form and plan based off that score. If we're waiting for that score to arrive, assume that you won't have the credit as you fill out the course selection form. We will receive those AP scores. Usually the first week in July we'll get them, and your advisor, as they look at the course selection form and actually build your schedule, when we see that that's come in, we'll make an adjustment automatically to your schedule to put you in the correct course. And if there's a major adjustment to your schedule because of AP credit, we'll give you a call or we'll send you an email to ask some questions and figure it out together.
Okay. And I know we're really running short on time right now. One last question I want to get to is we saw a question come in where a student was inquiring, where do they look for jobs? How do they get to the job board?
So the job board itself is located on financialaid.nd.edu, and if you scroll down to the bottom of that front page, there's a big yellow box called Toolbox, and in there you will see job board. And just to plug for student accounts, if you go to our webpage at the bottom of that gold box, you'll also see a link over to student accounts. So you don't have to worry about remembering perhaps all of these, and I think actually first year studies is probably linked there somewhere as well. But the job board is on financialaid.nd.edu. And remember, it's limited only to those positions that supervisors have posted at this point in time, but pretty much wherever people are on campus, there are jobs.
Thank you for that, Mary. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Candy, for joining us. We are wrapping up this first session, and our next session, we will be speaking with panelists from the Office of Housing, Health Services, and then Sean will actually come back to talk a little bit more about orientation. So I know we had a lot of questions here about roommates and finding out about dorms, so you'll have to tune in to our next session to find out that information, okay? So until next time, until 15 minutes, hopefully, we will say farewell from Notre Dame.